Hey guys, Shadow Reviewer here. Well, for the entirety of October, I'm going to be looking at 10 different topics about the horror genre. And starting today, I would like to do my top 10 favorite horror movie villains. The ones that are meant to scare and terrorize us in different forms. They can be just human villains, monstrous, male, female, or regardless of age. So, without any further ado, this is just my opinion, and let's get straight on to the video. My top 10 favorite horror movie villains. Starting off at number 10 is Jerry Blake from The Stepfather. Honestly, this guy is just an absolute creep. He goes down from families to families trying to find the perfect one. And when he doesn't find what suits him, let's just say he kills them, takes on a new identity, and starts the process again. And Terry O'Quinn's performance is unnervingly creepy. He makes Jerry Blake one you'd love to hate, and him trying to squirm his way of trying to be the perfect stepfather is very unnerving to watch. And when the cat's out of the bag, oh boy. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of the second one. Haven't seen the third one, and the remake. Yeah, no, screw the remake. Just watch this movie and you'll have a great time. And yeah, given it's titular villain, it's no exception to that rule. Number 9, Beverly Supton from Serial Mom. My god, this is an absolute thrill ride from one of John Moore's directorial films. And this movie is no exception. It's something. So, Kathleen Turner, yes, the voice of Jessica Rabbit, gives a very fun performance. She plays your typical suburban mom who has a fascination with serial killers, and when she finds something that doesn't attach to her liking, she just kills people. I mean, if it's to make fun of her husband, or even any of her kids, she'll do it. She even terrorizes 2 of her neighbors because one took her parking spot and the other one doesn't recycle. Yeah, and she even kills somebody else because they're wearing white shoes after Labor Day. Yeah, she comes up with the various crazy reasons to kill people. And Kathleen Turner is just a buttload of fun to watch, where you kind of side with her, but also wonder if she's gonna go off the hook again. Honestly, I would like to see this film kind of turn into a franchise, like with Kathleen Turner playing the role again. But for what we got here is just a ton of fun. And if you're a big fan of the movie Annie, and you watch this film, you're never gonna watch Annie the same way again. And if you know the scene, you know the scene. So yeah, I highly recommend this movie for anyone who just likes crazy-ass hot films, and Serial Mom's no exception to that. Kathleen Turner's performance is pretty much I guarantee you're gonna love this flick. Fantastic. And Beverly Supton, you keep going with what you're doing. Number 8, Chucky from the Child's Play series. Well, he may not be scary, but he is very entertaining, and Brad Dourif does an excellent job voicing the character. I mean, if you know who Chucky is, you know who Chucky is, and he pretty much needs no introduction. He just kills people just because he can. In the first three films, he just wants his owner's physical body. In the fourth one, him and his girlfriend, voiced beautifully by Jennifer Tilly, wants to take over the bodies of a married teenage couple. They have Chucky and Tiffany have a son, and they want to do the same process again. In the sixth and seventh films, he terrorizes a wheelchair-bound girl, who, by the way, is played by Brad Dourif's real-life daughter, Fiona. So, Chucky is an absolute riot. Kills, maims, and with that beautiful, beautiful laugh, he does no wrong. And as for the TV series, I've only watched the first season, and Brad Dourif again does an excellent job. And if you want to hear my thoughts on the remake, it's okay. Mark Hamill does what he can, but there is one Chucky, and that is Brad Dourif. So, I think these movies are great. Some more than others, but at least it's Brad Dourif. No one can do Chucky like he can. Mark Hamill, you just stick to the Joker, and Brad Dourif sticks with Chucky. No ands, ifs, or buts. Number 7, Jennifer Check from Jennifer's Body. Yeah, this is a pretty misunderstood film from the early 2000s. And this is honestly Megan Fox's best well-known movie, apart from, well, Transformers. And yeah, Jennifer Tech is your typical popular cheerleader with an unlikely friendship with a nerd. But after getting killed by a cult and a demon possesses her body, she turns from your typical popular cheerleader girl to pretty much a hot chick succubus. And honestly, Jennifer Check is about as unnerving as she can. I mean, lowering your enemy's vulnerability, and you go straight for the kill. And yeah, it's pretty much the marketing. It's pretty much gone straight for man, but there is a bit of a friendship story for the female friend story for the ladies. But man, when it's pretty much Jennifer Check, the movie is great, and Megan Fox does an excellent job in the role. This is honestly one of her best performances, and they say she doesn't have any good movies. I say check out Jennifer's Body. It's a fun time capsule of 2009, and it's a fun movie overall. So give this one a watch, especially for Megan Fox's performance alone. Number 6, John Kramer from the Saw series. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Saw movies. While the convoluted storyline is just a hoot and a half if you really pay attention, but being the only character played by the same actor for all 10 films in this series is John Kramer, played perfectly by Tobin Bell. And the guy gets me hooked. From a really tragic story, him and his wife are expecting their first child, only for his wife to have a miscarriage. So after that, he got his cancer diagnosis and sadly got into that car crash. Thankfully, he did survive, and that's what kicked in the whole, do you have the will to live? And while it is it's pretty much kind of a convoluted motivation to kill people, you kind of sort of sympathize with him. And while the first 9 films makes you sympathetic, it's the 10th and final installment that really makes you sympathize with him. Okay, so for the 10th film in the series, he gets tricked into thinking his brain cancer would be cured, but it turns out the doctors that quote-unquote did surgery on him were frauds. And what do? Get revenge. And yeah, and this is honestly, the 10th installment is Tobin Bell's best performance. I mean, he acts the hell of it, and the guy is like in his 80s. I'm not kidding. the guy's still kicking today, and he is awesome. And I'm still miffed that the 11th installment was postponed. But if it does actually happen, I want Tobey Bell to come back, because he makes the character of John Kramer very, very compelling, although his motivation is convoluted and kind of iffy when you think about it. But the acting alone is what makes this villain very, very iconic. So yeah, I give the Saw movies a watch, if you can handle what's in the films. But yeah, Tobin Bell as John Kramer, fantastic. Number 5. Beetlejuice from the Beetlejuice series. Or most likely just Beetlejuice 1 and 2. Oh my god, yeah. While the movie is PG, bull, it should be at least M-rated. Man, Beetlejuice is a buttload of fun. How I didn't watch this ages ago is beyond me, but when I watched the original, I had a really fun time. And Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice is no exception. Kooky, crazy, perverted, and just a ton of fun. I mean, this is honestly his most memorable role before he became the Dark Knight. And he's just a ton of fun. And especially in the second movie, he's even more over the top. I mean, what is there to say? Honestly, my favorite bit is in the first one. You're dealing with a professional here! Nice effing model! That line to me, not only what made it is just a ton of fun, but since it was improvised, it made it even more funnier. And while the second one isn't just as good as the first, it's still fun having Michael Keaton back. And he just cracks me up. I mean, he's the type of villain you're meant to laugh at, but also kind of get creeped on. I mean, in the movies, he's honking towards Lydia Dietz, who doesn't want to hook up with him, but she finds herself getting wrapped up in his madness. So yeah, I think Beetlejuice is a very memorable villain. But if you want to have a fun time, just say his name 3 times. Michael Keaton, you just do what you're doing, man. Oh, and he shares my love for my favorite horror film, The Exorcist. And as he says, it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it. Number 4, The Djinn from the Wishmaster series. Oh my, just the first 2. I'm ignoring parts 3 and 4. But Andrew Divoff does just absolutely fun. He's pretty much Beetlejuice in a way, but with a bit more sadism in there. So, the Djinn can grant his user 3 wishes, and after the 3rd wish is granted, he conquers the world. And he tries to do that. And while I would praise the makeup they did for the Djinn for the first 2 films, for parts 1 and 2, it's his human form that just memorizes me. Andrew Divoff does a beautiful job in the role. You're supposed to hate that guy, but it's his charisma and powerful voice that makes me want to fall under a spell a bunch of times. And while the second film is not as good as the first one, at least he provides the best parts. It's that voice. While you're not meant to trust him, it kind of makes you fall under a spell. It's that charisma. And it's just amazing. Yeah. So while the movies aren't exactly perfection, watch it for Andrew Divoff alone. He makes the first one, and especially the second one, very entertaining. Just ignore parts 3 and 4. The actor doesn't reprise the role, and there's no reason to watch those. But yeah, the Djinn himself, very, very charismatic and very powerful. Well done. Okay, so my top 3 favorite villains are just fun in their own ways, but also very powerful. And at number 3 is Mick Taylor from the Wolf Creek series, or mostly just the first 2. The third one isn't out yet. And I want to share a fun story, because this is the only villain on this list that I actually met in real life. I'll show you. Yep, there he is. John Jarratt. Absolutely amazing man. And he makes Mick Taylor probably one of the creepiest and unnerving villains you'll ever see. I mean, the guy's a sadist, disgusting creep. But, again, like with Andrew Divoff, it's the actor that does an excellent job. And John Jarratt does a beautiful job. I mean, it's that great Australian accent. I mean, you mistrust him, but also kind of want to trust him at the same time. But when it gets to the second half, especially in the first movie, you instantly hate him. I mean, man, he's such a creep. And while I'm going to ignore the real-life events of the actor's life, the Wolf Creek films are among his best work. And yes, I've watched the second one, and yeah, he still brings in the charisma. And if I ever bump into him again next year at Supernova, I like to ask him if Wolf Creek 3 is ever going to happen. And before anyone asks if I've seen the TV show, I unfortunately haven't. It's very hard to track down a copy of the series, but for the movies alone, I recommend the Wolf Creek films. Mick Taylor is a very iconic villain, and John Jarratt does an excellent job in the role. I mean, just watch it for the actor alone. Very solid performance. So, and thank you, and thank you, John Jarratt, for meeting me. It was an honor to meet you. Number 2, Esther Coleman from the Orphan series, or just mostly the first 2. And apart from Chucky, who's technically a kid, this is actually, well, Esther looks like a child, but she's actually a grown woman. She just has a condition where she looks like a child. And yeah, Esther Coleman, or her real name is Lena Klammer, is a very scary villain. And Isabella Fuhrman, both in the first movie and the prequel film, does a fantastic job given the range the character has. And I mean, in the first movie, she is actually 10 years old when she played the role, and she is very creepy and very unnerving. I mean, she manipulates everyone around her, and she gets away with it because she's a kid. And the way she creeps around stalking her victim is just unnerving to me. And even in the prequel, which, fun fact, they never used CGI to make her look younger, she's also very well done. And even with the surprising twist that I'm not going to spoil if you haven't seen Orphan First Kill, she does an excellent job trying to balance out how to get away with it. And honestly, Isabella Fuhrman does a great job. And if they ever make that third Orphan film, please, I want her to come back. I don't think any other female actor could do this role perfectly. Esther Coleman is a very terrifying kid villain. But there is one horror movie villain that I think is not only scary, but very sympathetic. I love my sympathetic villains, and my number 1 pick is no exception. And my number 1 favorite horror movie villain is Pearl from the X series, or just X and her film Pearl. what do I say about Pearl Douglas? Talk about skin crawling. Mia Goth does a fantastic job. Okay, so in X, which by the way, Mia Goth plays Pearl, just an old makeup, just feels, frustrated that she can't please her man, so she kills the film crew that are filming currently in the backyard of her house. And there's this one girl who's also played by Mia Goth, Maxine, who eventually did get her own film. Feels an instant attraction, just feels like she doesn't deserve the life she's going to have. And yeah, that's how you sympathize with your villain. But in the prequel film Pearl, which came out a couple of months after X, but set in the 30s. No, sorry, in the 1910s. They make Pearl even more sympathetic. I mean, she just wants to live the life that she deserved, but she has to stay home for her husband who's off fighting in the First World War and attend to her bedridden father. And her mother, well, not exactly the greatest mother. Given the time period, she has to be strict once she's strict. And Pearl has pretty much an underlying medical condition that was never diagnosed at the time. And honestly, Pearl's journey throughout the film, you want to root for her. But when it fails, Mia Goth's performance is freaking amazing. I mean, that scene where she talks about her feelings is an unbroken, one-take, 8-minute monologue of her pretty much admitting what she's done in the past, now, and what she'd do in the future. And Mia Goth's fantastic performance just elevates the compassion and the commitment. And honestly, the picture I just showed you just then before I announced my number one pick, that face, fun fact, also was a unbroken take where she had to do that creepy ass smile. And when I left the theater watching the film, it left a scarring impression on me. That face is terrifying. And Mia Goth delivered it perfectly. This is a villain that I feel compassion for, but also want to root for. But given the horrible things she's done, I don't know, it's just, you feel bad for her all the way. And even now as an old woman, she's pretty much lost the life she could have had. And it's just really sad. But you also don't commit to what she did, given the things she's done. So I say Pearl Douglas from Pearl and X is my number one favorite horror movie villain. I mean, talk about leaving an impression. Wow. And excuse the noise outside. Sorry if you couldn't hear me. Apart from that, sorry. And that's the end of the video, folks. I hope you like it. Give me a thumbs up, like and comment, subscribe, and I had to come with videos out like this. Next Friday, I'll be looking at my top 10 favorite female horror protagonists. Keep an eye out for that video. But, actually tomorrow, I'm gonna start the Thursdays on Pokemon with Pokemon Season 3, Episodes 1 to 5. Keep an eye out for that video. Until then, I'm the Shadow Reviewer, and happy Halloween!